intro. This is Jane Hoffman on I'm with Blog Talk Radio. But I'm on Political Gravity on YouTube because TalkShoe, SHOE, did not work. The new platform, the access code didn't work. My friend couldn't log in. It was a hassle. We couldn't do it Brady Bunch style, and we couldn't do it by phones and access codes. So here we are live again, and one of my best podcasters was AWOL today. I think she might be having a medical difficulty. So I was going to play you an excerpt from my interview with Ann Applebaum. She's a foreign policy writer for the Atlantic Monthly. And I would like to describe some of the things I heard this week. In many cases, Trump's tariffs are not working at all. There's specialty items like olive oil out of Italy that Italians are not willing to pay the marked up costs to send it to America. On the other hand, Donald Trump's being two-faced with Russia. He's allowing them to import certain products that make more drones and bombs under the table that people don't know about, but still trying to dissolve the war between them and the Ukraine. Other countries are still complaining, even though he somehow made some deal with Europe this week. And then there was Ann Applebaum on NPR tonight that stated that all these countries that are getting wealthier versus the ones who are just devastated, like the Sudan, Libya, the Ukraine, and Syria over the last 10 years, have all been a product of kleptocracy and greed, meaning that other people have gone in there, they pretty much raped the land, killed the people, taken the resources, and didn't leave any for the people living there. So tonight we're going to just have a general discussion for 30 minutes. I do have to go to work, and we were supposed to start a new platform, but it didn't work out. So Don, do you want to chime in with what you've heard this week? And I'm going to try to bring up that interview, okay?
All right, got it. Well, my main thing, as I said in our last show, is that finally the thing that I've been saying is our biggest concern, our biggest problem, and it should be our biggest concentration is on racism. The country is built on racism. Everybody in Texas, all over the country, if you're looking at TV, will see the Texas contingent running all over the place. Death threats today or yesterday.
Yeah, please bring up gerrymandering too, how Trump's trying to be underhanded in Texas.
Correct. Okay, I didn't explain what's going on, but there's gerrymandering where they're going to possibly pick up 5 seats in Texas at the behest of the president because he requested it. So, and a lot of it's unconstitutional. The Democratic legislators, senators are running all around the country to stay away from the Texas State House because they're in a vote for this gerrymandering, and they know they're going to lose right now. So they can stay 30 days. The vote will be done, I believe, at the end of this month. So they'll be able to stay 30 days, which now is about 25 out of the state, and then come back for fear of being arrested. And there will be introduce the bill again, and they'll sequester the senators, and they'll have to make the vote.
Okay, first of all,
senators, they'll have to make the vote or go to jail.
I have a question. Just because Donald Trump wants to change the redistricting and borders doesn't mean he's going to get his way. It's up to the Texas legislature, right?
Yes. Yes, the Texas legislature will be under pressure from their constituents because there's one proposed district that is going to go almost 300 miles. That's ridiculous. That's not fair. It's not equitable for anyone. And it's putting pressure on other Democratic blue states to just do it and have one Republican. I mean, California, then they're already having it, where you have one Republican district and everything else is blue. So, we're looking at.
You want to hear something crazy? Besides Trump openly trying to change the legislative boundaries without any type of hidden agenda, today he said that he was going to send in the National Guard into Washington, D.C. because there's too much crime in the nation's capital. Like, who the hell does he think he is?
He's Trump. This is all a ruse. The guy is pulling the wool over everyone's head because he's stealing from those in the Treasury. He's got his own Bitcoins and cryptocurrencies that is illegal to profit off of when you're a president. And then he's got all kinds of other things going on that he says he's smarter than anyone because he can bankrupt the country, make money with his taxes, and nobody's going to do anything. And he's right. He's bankrupt.
Well, the whole thing is a lot of for example, he closed an office called the Office of Global. It was something like the Office of Global Negotiations, and it was within the State Department. It was just like a more of a diplomatic approach to countries that are having conflict. So a lot of, even if he's not doing everything for self-gain, he's doing things that are self-sabotage for coordination of world events.
Of course, that's what he wants to do. People don't understand. He is a new dictator. This is what he wanted. His best buddy was Putin. I'm not even talking about Epstein, but his best buddy was Putin. He loves the sea. He loves black men. He loves
he likes certain black men.
Yeah, so they do what he wants. He doesn't play his employees. He stiffs his contractors. He has undocumented workers working at Mar-a-Lago, Trump Tower, and everywhere else. The guy is a liar and a thief and a cheat and a mafioso Nazi, and people can't even see it. And it's funny because these people are going to get knocked out, and renters are it. They're going to get all their money taken, and this whole thing is going to be a money grab from renters and homeowners because they're the ones with the money, and he needs the money to pay back all these benefactors who have been his supporters.
Well, there's farmers in rural areas that are suffering. There's energy assistance in rural areas that are no longer happening. He's breaking the back of America.
On purpose. And that's what Americans don't understand. He's doing all this stuff to Texas, and the Texas legislature is not able to do its job on trying to get restore the high country that was flooded. They can't even get to that business so that they can report to the EPA and do everything they need to do to start getting money for repairs.
Forget about the 5 seats he wants in Texas. Who's to say that anyone's going to vote for him in for any of his there's something wrong with your phone. You're going to have to go off speaker.
Why?
Because it's causing squiggly noises on my end.
Okay, I'll go off. Well, I'm on speaker.
I know. Take yourself off and just talk to me like it's a phone call.
All right, is it better?
Yes. So,
All right.
all right, let's just go back to Texas as a model, for example, and then I have to read a portion of an article. Let's say that he wants, I need 5 more seats in Texas. Who's to say that anybody from Texas who supports Trump right now is going to win their seat back anywhere in the country? What is he banking on?
He's banking on Texas. Right now, he's got a coup. This is a coup. He's doing everything against what the legislature, what the Constitution has said. So you people are just sitting around talking about these little minutia bullshit when we've got a big situation here where he's going to defund the federal government. He's already in Powell's face, making him make interest cuts. He doesn't understand that it's going to cause, well, he understands it's going to cause inflation. Inflation's going to be, everybody's going to be paying more and all that money, all this different.
I think he does sort of realize that because a lot of the tariffs, even though he said he's worked out the kinks, have backfired. And there's a lot of countries that aren't willing to comply anymore, including Canada, that's going to start receiving goods from Europe. So,
what's your point? I mean,
my point is that he can't just rearrange the world and expect
damn it, he's doing it.
Everybody to fall in order.
He's doing it. All these people, EU, who's that? North Korea.
The EU tricked him.
Well, no, they're still going through with their tariff agreement. I think they had about 3 or 4 that he has. These people are coming, licking his boots with all the money they can get Taiwan.
What's so great about America that they have to sell to us? Why can't we suffer a little and pay $5 extra at the grocery store for olive oil that the Italians are sucking up in tariffs?
Because we're Americans and we revel in cheapness. When you can get a Louis Vuitton purse, what's your favorite purse? What's your favorite?
Probably Michael Kors or Coach.
Okay, or Michael Kors. All right, you got a Michael Kors purse that's going for $1,200, and that purse was basically made in Michael Kors is. What is Michael Kors is?
I don't know where he farms out his materials to.
All right. Well, let's say a Michael Kors purse is $1,200, and then you get to a Michael Kors purse that has to come through customs, have tariffs on it. That purse is, but it's going to be from a Chinese child labor. That purse is going to be $900. So the savings that you have on tariffs, the taxes, manufacturing, where it's manufactured at, those are going to all make a difference. And American women are going to go around and say, I got this for $900, and it usually sells for $1,200. And that is a coup. That is a win. Or so they
Okay, just so you know, I've never paid $20 for a purse. I refuse to pay money for a item that I carry money in. Why should I spend a large amount for a purse that I'm going to put my money in and someone might rip off if I have too nice of a purse?
Oh, well, Pat she doesn't pay less than $1,000 for a purse.
So what kind of purse does your wife have?
Louis Vuittons and Coaches. I mean, she'll pay. Now she's gone down to Coaches. She'll pay $300, $400 now.
Well, that's a ripoff.
Why? Because people are people feel is worth it, they will do anything to the ends of the earth to do it.
Well, okay, I can see people paying for a good pair of shoes when they're getting elderly and having trouble walking, but I just have certain socialist values that don't fit in with capitalism. So in the next segment, we are going to get back.
You just admitted you're not American.
I said I'm a socialist. So is Bernie Sanders. Anyways, I want to talk about something else right now.
This is a democracy. This is a laissez-faire economic.
I'm not totally against it. I'm not totally against it. I just don't like the inflated situation where people create needs that aren't really needs. And by the way, you're back on speaker because you're crackling again. Okay, I'm going to read something so you can be quiet for about 60 seconds, okay?
First of all, greed is a man-made thing. It's not a natural thing. You're supposed to take care of your family, your brood. And we have lost that. We've given our kids to the social media, and now they're killing themselves because they've got too much pressure especially by their peers, to do what they're supposed. That other people are supposed to tell them what to do.
I know, and I read on the news this week, like you were talking about Texas killing people. 5 black teenagers disappeared in the Midwest this week. 3 in Missouri, I believe 1 in Minneapolis and 1 in Wisconsin. Plus 2 people on TikTok are related to TikTok having their own accounts killed themselves in Wisconsin. I didn't find out the full reasons, but people were talking about how sad it was. And there's all kinds of crazy stuff going on right under our noses. Like, how could that many kids go missing in 1 week? Like a 14-year-old in Missouri, and then another couple kids near Kansas City. And then I believe there was 1 in Minneapolis and 1 in Wisconsin. Just like, how do people disappear? And then 1 girl in Minneapolis in the St. Anthony Falls area, she's only 12 and she's a type 1 diabetic, and she's going to die in a couple days if she can't get her insulin.
Too bad, so sad. This is what happens when Jim Crow and lynching and everything else is still real.
Well, don't say too bad, so sad. These are children.
So what?
Now you sound like John Yoder.
You are just dumber.
You're swearing at me. I've been sick all day with diabetes, and you're swearing at me.
Okay. Do you understand?
Because you're not smart enough to use TalkShoe.
No. Okay. Understand, when you go to war, when you go into the Army, or the Air Force, or the Navy, or the Marine, whatever, you are taught to kill, plunder, and pillage. Rape, plunder, and pillage. That's what you do. You're taught to rape, plunder, and pillage. That's what Elmo was taught. He just didn't like it, or he liked it too much.
Well, how about crazy civilians? For one thing, there was
the motherfucking shooting with the army sergeant.
I was about to bring that up. He shot at 4 of his peers. He shot 4 of his peers today. I don't know what happened to him.
I think he shot 5, and he was neutralized. I don't know if he was killed or not.
Neutralized. Okay, just for my audience, I don't think we're going to get to the Syria and Sudan and Yemenis play tonight, but I am going to bring it up anyway. But Don, let's just regroup a minute because I can only stay on the air 15 more minutes. Then I got to go to work. So first of all, I want to just recap a few things. Don and I did beeline into American politics right away because there's just so many things happening that aren't adding up. And one of them is Donald Trump openly telling a state they have to redistrict by such and such a time before the 2026 election. Well, you know what? This isn't his personal agenda. Each state has a right to redistrict their areas due to population shifts and changes and not taking advantage of having too many rich people in one area and being inclusive of the poor and middle class. Secondly, some of the tariffs are not working, and it was mentioned today on a major news channel that Donald Trump is cherry picking some of the goods and supplies going into Russia without any retribution. And that includes war making materials. So he's like a forked tongue. He's speaking out of two sides of his mouth. Either help the Ukrainians to crush down Russia, but then don't help Russians on the side. Then I want to make another point. Trump is worried about India buying Russian oil, but I found out why. First of all, he says we're a America First nation and we don't have to trade with anyone we don't want. Well, why is he telling India, who isn't our sovereign nation, why is he telling Russians how to deal with their purchasers for oil? And the reason India started buying 25% of their oil from Russia is because Russia dropped the price. Due to the war, they need to sell more oil. And some countries jumped on board because they're trying to reduce their own oil consumption. So India just did it for a pragmatic reason, as they wanted cheaper oil. And not everybody can get their oil from Saudi Arabia. That part of the world is taxed. And also it's subject to canal closings and things like that with the recent Iranian conflict in the Straits of Horab. I think it's called Horab or something like that. Hormuz, Strait of Hormuz. So, Don, let's just keep going with our regular topic then, and I'll change the title later. Don Gallimore, Earth to Don.
Yeah, whatever you want to do, go for it. You know, you can talk about the Sudan. I mean, not the Sudan. The streets of.
So how do you react to how is your reaction to 4 or 5 children becoming missing versus an army officer shooting his own peers on a base? Is it any difference to you, or is it whatever?
It's whatever. The biggest terrorist organization is the Aryan Nation and Proud Boys and those guys, white supremacists. And you're talking about Missouri, Minnesota, Wisconsin. You know that.
Don't put Minnesota into Crackerville. We don't have any redneck posses up here. And also, Montana had a guy this week who shot 4 people in a rural area, and the FBI had to come in and help.
Well, that's the whole point. These people are going crazy. They're inbred, unhealthy. They don't eat right and exercise. Disturbed people.
I saw 2 400-pound people. I got off work at 7:30 and I was at Quick Trip, a very big convenience store. I saw 2 400-pound people walking into Quick Trip this morning for their breakfast, 400 pounds apiece. I don't even know how they can go to work at that size.
How do you know they're working?
Because they were dressed in work clothes.
Okay, well, bottom line is that it happens all the time. 67 or 63 or 67% of all Americans are obese.
I want to tell you something about the redneck posses. They're in Idaho, Montana, and they're in certain parts of those areas. They're also in Wyoming and certain parts of Nevada. They're not in Minnesota, and if there is, it's only a small group. And then they also have fluctuations throughout the South. Hello?
Yeah, no, that doesn't mean that they don't have an opportunity in Minnesota who is willing to kidnap children. If that, in fact, is the case. Timothy McVeigh, he was from Wisconsin. And he had.
No, I think he was from Michigan.
Timothy McVeigh was in Wisconsin. He may have been from Michigan. I think but he was in Wisconsin or Texas.
The only blot Minnesota has is that Warren Jeffries from the Mormon Church, who raped and married all those women. He had some kind of camp in northern Minnesota that got disabled by the feds, and he was put to trial for it.
All right, well, all I know is that you're poor little Minnesota, not as innocent as you make it out to be.
Just a minute. I'm going to see where Timothy McVeigh is from.
Because he got his bomb equipment and fertilizer from Wisconsin. I don't know if he's from Wisconsin, but that's where he was at when he made all these bombs that he took down Oklahoma.
He's from Lockport, New York.
Okay.
Lockport, New York. Now,
where did he make his bombs at?
I can't switch screens on this platform. So we're gonna have to discuss. I can look it up in a minute, actually. Okay. I was gonna also say that Wisconsin had the John Birch Society.
Yeah, that's the northern part of.
It was East Central Wisconsin.
Which is, I'm from there. I know it's racist. Milwaukee was the most segregated city in America. People don't understand.
I know. Remember when that pastor crossed the something street viaduct, and Father Groppe, and then Dick Gregory was up there marching too. That's in my book, the Milwaukee 14.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we know that we're on the same page. So Milwaukee is still very segregated and poor because Tommy Thompson and a couple other governors dismantled the whole welfare system almost.
Well, it was the most corrupt welfare system in the country anyway. Besides Illinois.
They let people get child care and food stamps, but they wouldn't let people get cash aid. So what are they supposed to live in? How are they supposed to pay rent? So I found the answer to your question on Timothy McVeigh. He purchased the fertilizer used in Oklahoma City bombing from a mid-Kansas co-op in McPherson, Kansas. He used the alias Mike Havens when he bought the fertilizer. He bought 4,000 pounds of ammonium nitrate, which is a key component to a bomb. The purchase was made on September 29, 1994, according to a salesman who testified about the phone call. So it was in the Midwest, but it was in Kansas.
All right, but I think he assembled them in Wisconsin. He had a Wisconsin connection anyway. I don't know what it was exactly.
And wasn't Timothy McVeigh an Army veteran, or maybe not?
I don't remember that. I think he might have been, now that you bring it up.
Yeah, he killed 167 people. I remember. I actually wrote a short story on it. It was 6 parts, and it was in the paper.
Okay.
Yes, he's a former soldier of the U.S. Army. I just found it. Yeah, he was a hot mess. It says that he was killed. Oh, wait.
Yeah, he was.
Who was he killed by? Do you remember? All right, let me just read the. Since we only have 5 minutes of the show left, I want to. He was a Gulf War veteran. Can you take your phone off speaker? He was a Gulf War veteran. McVeigh became radicalized by anti-government beliefs. He sought revenge against the U.S. feds for the 1993 Waco siege, as well as the 1992 Ruby Ridge incident. McVeigh expressed particular disapproval of federal agencies such as the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. So I was mowing the lawn when it happened, and I was living with my parents. And I remember that day. I also went to the Oklahoma City Memorial a year later with Ernest, who was from Oklahoma. Do you remember Ernest?
Yeah, I was thinking about Ernest. In fact, Sunday, I was wondering how he was and if he, still did this because he left you in a rage. I don't know what changed.
What happened was he was mad that I didn't pay for the show 1 month. And then he tried to recruit John onto his show. And we had a falling out. But I did go to the Janet Jackson concert with him in New York City, Radio City Music Hall in 2011. We'd known each other 20 years. He was just being selfish. Because he didn't work and he expected me to pay for the show. But he got cancer. And I think he's doing okay now.
Good. I mean, he was a nice guy. He just had his...
He had shortcomings, and he was also gay, but a Southern Baptist, so he had a lot of conflict emotionally about his life.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he had a lot of shame and guilt, and his mother never accepted his gayness, and his grandparents were the founders of a Southern Baptist church in Oklahoma City, and I wouldn't say that he wrestled with being gay, but he wrestled with people not accepting him.
Well, I just wish him all the best. That's all.
Okay, we have to do our conclusion now because I have to wash my hair before work.
All right, you got it. You going first or me?
You can. I've been talking a lot.
All right. Well, I pretty much said what I said in terms of what this country is about. But people, white people are just so blind and they follow like sheep. And it's a sad situation when you say you're supposed to be free and liberated, and these people are walking behind this ghost, doing things that are just completely inhuman, and they don't care about other human beings at all. So we're going to have to really play like they play, just war, rape, pillage, and steal, and plunder. And so we're looking at, Democratic Party has already elicited the fact that we're at war, and so everything is on the table. And I'm coming out of, I won't say hibernation because I've never really been in the spotlight, the main spotlight, because I know that I'll be killed. And these white folks don't want anybody to challenge their leadership, even though they're worthless, weak people. But
guess what TV show I've been binge watching at work?
Behind the Gates.
It's called In the Heat of the Night with Carol O'Connor from Archie.
Oh my God!
Wait, and that black guy Howard Rollins, and just about every other episode, a black guy gets killed in the woods in Sparta, Mississippi.
There you go. That's exactly what the pilot was, because bunker.
Well, actually, it's a really good acting, and I like the plots. And whoever directed it does a good job. But I want to mention something. I started the topic tonight on countries in the world that are completely collapsing due to greed, evil countries collaborating to destroy them and throwing them off the map. And Syria, Yemen, Sudan, Libya, and Gaza, they're already in Armageddon. Their lives can't get any worse. And I heard a long broadcast today by a Russian woman who's a food worker in Gaza. And even though they're opening up the gates again, Israel put a temporary halt. It's not enough. People have already been starving 30 days. They're going to die. And there's really, these people are suffering, and there's really no world resources to solve the problems because the major heavy hitters don't want to help. And those people in the Sudan and Gaza and other places are going to die. And it's been going on for years in Yemen. And I'm sad that Americans can't see the full picture of how bad the political ally scene is. But your connection is bad, and I have to end the show now, Don.
All right. Well, bottom line is that